Yo, what's going on, everybody? So, I'm Coach Javier, Coach Rogers, Javier Rogers. If you know me, you might call me by couple different things, couple different names, but I'm excited coming from you live. I'm excited to share with you something that I was actually able to share with at an event a couple months ago during the summer with a group of people. This is who are in the health and wellness space. And just to kind of be more informative and this is more of a generalization than it is a specification. So that way, you know, you don't get overwhelmed when you see this and so on and so forth. So real quick, my company, I'm owner of ReDefine Performance. And yeah, I mean, it comes from a lot of different things, but we'll get to that at a different time. But if you're watching this right now, I just want to give you a big shout out. Thank you for dropping in, catching this. Maybe it was on accident, maybe it was on purpose. But anyways, nonetheless, I'm excited to share this with you. So topic of today is redefine your performance. So some tips and keys to start filling your bucket. So a lot of us come from different backgrounds. A lot of us are looking into bettering your health for your loved ones, for yourself, for your grandkids, right? A legacy to follow, and you want to be apart for as long as possible. So here's some tips and keys to start filling your bucket. So here we go. Part one, there's the big wins and the small stuff. So don't overlook the small things that you're doing to increase or to better your health. So let's look at the first first sentence. And I broke this down into fiction and the fact. Fiction is what you often hear, and the truth of. Let's kind of rephrase, let's correct this model or this statement in our thinking. So fiction or false narrative, right? Taking back control of your health is easy. For a lot of us who have or are in our process of winning back our health and wellness, health and fitness, the fact is we know that winning your health back is a process. False or fiction. Carrying and drinking a gallon of water alone does not mean that you're hydrated. So there's a lot of ways I could have gone with all these different things, but this one is one that I just find it silly, because there's other components to hydration, and a lot of times we don't take into consideration the hydration is not only water, but it's from the foods that we eat, the fruits and vegetables, the other things that we consume throughout our day that also plays a part into our hydration. And I just think it's funny. I used to be one, like, nothing against carrying a gallon of water around. Matter of fact, if you haven't done that, try it out and see what a difference drinking a gallon of water does. But sometimes I feel like this is an overuse of a really great strategy to really win someone's health. And a lot of times what I've seen and what I know is that it's like do or die. If I don't drink this gallon of water, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to get to my weight goal, or I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z. And so the fact is there's more to it than hydration. Hydration can come. Here's the fact. Hydration can come in more forms than just water. Here's our third statement. Fiction or false. Your body is not a temple. The truth is your body is a temple, and it's more than just a spiritual temple. So myself, I'm a full believer in Christ. I believe that he came and died and rose on the third day for my sins, for our sins as a humanity in our depravity. And so this is near and dear to us as a relationship with the Lord. Your body is more than a temple, right? It's more than just a spiritual temple. So it's just as much as, and that's a whole other subject for a whole another time, but just as much as we're supposed to take care of the inside, it's just as important to take care of what's on the outside. So let's look over here at this little pie chart. And so a lot of times, here's our ultra processed foods. It's sometimes ignorance is bliss. Sometimes our income plays a part in our opportunities to purchase certain foods, but 57% of the things in the generalization, but as a mean across the US, majority of our calories come from our ultra processed foods. They're easy. It's a grab and go type of thing, and it makes sense. Here we have our unprocessed, minimal processed foods. So you can see here the fruits, the vegetables, the meats, the dairies, the grains, all these other things that realistically should be, this is a relative 630, 625 calories a day, relatively, but these should be flipped. Majority of our consumption should come from these unprocessed, organic, minimal processed foods. And then here's the other, which includes cooking ingredients, cheeses. But again, our income, our median income, our certain lifestyle, there's life, of course, happens. So, and sometimes this isn't possible, but we should strive to start to flip this pie chart to where the green starts to fill and flow over more into the orange than the orange into the green and the yellow. So here's the small stuff. And these are a couple studies done by the University of Illinois, Illinois, and the National Institute of, oh yeah, there it is, right here. Yeah, University of Illinois, and then there's one more, the National Institute of, and don't quote me on this because I just blanked, but we'll get to that in a second. So the small stuff. So there's an effect called the Pomodoro effect. So it simply states for every 25 minutes of work, whatever that is, whether you're at a desk job or XYZ, right? You get a break for 5 minutes, and for every 50 minutes of work, you get 10 minutes of rest. So for many of us, we work at 8-hour jobs. And so 8 hours. So break that up, 10 minutes of rest, right? Because 8 hours, there's 50 minutes, and then the other 10 minutes. So 10 minutes of rest. So 10, so that's 80 minutes that you can have available to you. So that's an hour and 20 minutes that you have available to you, whether that's your lunchtime, whether that's just simply you getting up from your desk and walking over to the water, getting a refill, getting coffee. But how can we maximize those 10 minutes of rest while we're at work, where we're just sitting and typing and this, that, and the other? Let's stomp the yard. Let's look at this first point. Stomp the yard or not. If you've seen the movie, you kind of know what I'm getting at, right? So there's this mantra that 10,000 steps is the way to go. But the fact is, let's just start by adding 2,000 to 3,000 more steps daily. Because the truth is, 10,000 steps seems like an overwhelming goal, where many of us aren't getting 10,000 steps if you're working a 9 to 5, if you're working a night shift, if you're working an early morning shift where you have to stay in one spot. And so whatever your number is, just add 2,000 to 3,000 more steps to that as best you can daily, right? And then from there, kind of start to build on that process of building up to 10,000 steps, right? So it's just, again, it's a gradual process to get to where you want to get to your next point in life, right? Point in life, all right, the goal. And so when you move more, point 2, you feel better. Let's look at this graph, or the top right corner here. Here's the study by the University of Illinois. After 20 minutes of sitting quietly, here's how the brain, from a CT scan, here's what they were able to see. Just really nothing going on. And here's that meditation part, where it's, a lot of times where you want to meditate and you're just in the peace and quiet. which is nothing wrong with that, but let's find a balance. And then here's, after 20 minutes of walking, look at how much more gray matter is lit up from just simply actively walking for 20 minutes, whether it's outside, whether it's down to your vehicle to get something that you forgot, right? Just getting up and moving the body can really start to burn more, if you want to think of it like this, start to burn more calories. So that way, as you sit and kind of rest, there's a thermogenic effect that your body's still starting to work even while you're sitting. So try something new. 20 minutes of walking. See what happens. Take note and see what happens and start to implement a little bit more than that, right? And then point 3, sleep hygiene. So if you're working 9 to 5, again, whatever your schedule is like, it's important to maintain a regular sleep period, right? Whether you go to sleep at 12 and you wake up at 7, whether you go to sleep at 11 and wake up at 5, 10, wake up at 5, whatever your sleep schedule is, it's important to try to maintain a regular wake up and a regular sleep time window, right? If you're a new parent, if you have to take care of little ones, this, that, and the other, of course, that's kind of up in the air, but try to be as consistent as possible, right? We want to avoid caffeine too late in the evening. So caffeine has a half-life. So I myself opt to take my caffeine right about midday or a little before. So that way when my clock window, my sleep cycle starts to hit around that 9, 10, or that 8 or 9 o'clock period, then that's when I know, like, hey, it's time to try to settle things. And then sun exposure, vitamin D. A lot of us, again, if you're working 9 to 5, you wake up early, you go to the gym, you do this, that, and the other. We're always missing one point, and that's the sun exposure to start our circadian rhythm. And if you look down here on the bottom right of the screen, tips to maintain a healthy sleep-wake cycle. And would you notice the first thing is this yellow that says get sunlight. To try to, at least as best you can, as soon as you wake up. And then exercise. Keep naps short. Here's some tips. Avoid caffeine. Avoid using electronics in bed. Build a consistent sleep schedule. So all these play a part in our sleep hygiene. And so the small stuff, and for many of us, you might exercise, you might not. Let's see right here to the left of the screen. What's better, cardio or weights? Let's look at the pros. Okay, for cardio, you burn extra calories, you build endurance, you build a better cardiovascular health, right? Putting some stress on the heart because it is a muscle, right? It helps to improve blood flow, helps to release endorphins plus stress relief. And then weights. Here's this other side of the spectrum. You can build muscle, burn calories at rest. That's that thermogenic effect in excess or in effect. You can build strength, and then again, here's another endorphins, and it helps to relieve some relief stress from the body. So let's look at this bottom circle or this bottom box. It says the bottom line: the best thing is what works best for you and what you enjoy doing. That may even mean combining the two. So there's a whole other world. But if you haven't started, just start somewhere. Cardio, weights. If you don't know where, ask a friend, ask me, comment below, do what you got to do. Would love to help you move forward into your next steps, right? In the small stuff, into the big dreams. So here we have no free play, no fun for myself. So I'm a big mover. I'm a physical education type of guy. So there's some things that I notice and that I see, and I'm sure as many of us in this post-COVID era. And so we see the benefits of play. Let's just look at it. Parents recognize the benefits of playing for children, but there's room for increased education, particularly among millennial parents. And this is from 2017 Voice of Play survey. Wakefield research. Which of the following, so let's look at the question that was asked. Which of the following do you feel is a benefit of children playing? social, such as interacting with other or building relationship skills. Across the millennial, Gen X, and Boomer parents, there was a mean number that came out to be 81, pretty much 81% of them said that it was important. That plays a benefit as children play, right? Here's physical, such as exercise or flexibility. 80% of all three generations said that it's a benefit of children playing. Cognitive, so the brain function, such as developing verbal or manipulative skills, 72%. Emotional, building self-confidence, releasing emotions, 72%. So the reason why this says no free play, no fun, not only does this apply to the kids and what's happening in our education, in our school systems, of, again, kids pretty much working a 9 to 5, they have limited outside play, and then we wonder why our kids are coming home still antsy, still jittery, all these extra things, when ideally you'd want to send them to school or just to be able to release some of that energy. They want to be there. We are social creatures. We are emotional creatures where we can connect with others rather than just be at a desk. And not to say that none of this isn't important, but I'm just saying if we had more creativity and time to play and move, then would we see our increase in cognitive development, emotional development, social development across all generations, especially in the ones post-COVID. So here you'll see a couple of cities, but the stand. So the city that I went to share with, the event that I went to share with. So here in 2022 here's a chart as most overweight and obese cities in the U.S. He's a financial writer. It's all right, Wallet Hub, but Prevent, Treat, Beat Diabetes Symposium. And at the top in the metro area is a McAllen, Edinburgh, Mission area, which Texas, which is where my family lives. I have a lot of friends, a lot of a lot of people down there, and so they're by chart in 2022 the most overweight and obese city in the U.S. And then you keep going down: Memphis, Tennessee, Arkansas area, pretty much 84%, 83%, 83%, Mobile, Alabama, Knoxville, Jackson, Mississippi. All these, couple things come to mind. One, ignorance. It's no fault to them. They just don't know, right? Sometimes, especially if you live down towards the border, the families that come across, they only know one thing, and that's usually work, right? Work hard, provide, but they don't know the benefits of or the dangers of being overweight and obese, and the benefits of the other side, which is being the benefits of health and wellness and fitness and all these extra things, right? Two, it can be a socioeconomic thing where the kids coming through, or the parents, they don't have a degree higher than a high school degree or a diploma, which is nothing wrong. I've seen many successful and many make it out, but having that next step in a socioeconomic column can definitely help a family economically. Think of it like that. And then the third one is just really the resources and what's available to the community as a whole. You can visit these places and you can see the difference between, say for instance, McAllen, Edinburgh, Mission, Texas, great place, wonderful, hot, let me say that. But if you drive up 3 hours north to San Antonio, you can see a drastic difference just from a 3 hours drive. And so that within itself says a lot about what is the resources, what's going on, and maybe the focus of these different things. So it's time to play, right? Move your brain, move your body. When you move your body, your brain activates. And so we want to create an environment where you can explore the intricacies of what the human body is able to do in and through health and fitness. So taking your dog out on a walk, or exploring movement, having fun, jumping around, taking it back to those elementary days, right? We get old because we stop playing, right? If we don't stop playing, we don't get old. So lastly, if you found this video informative and engaging, go ahead, hit that like, subscribe button, and we'll get to it. Another video coming soon. And if you want to find me on the platforms, Redefine Performance, hey man, comes down to perform different, you got to train different. See ya.